You must never be fearful about what you are doing when it is right. Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was a civil rights leader who courageously refused to surrender her seat on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama on December 1st, 1955. Her infamous action inspired leaders of the local Black community, including Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., to organize a national movement known as the Montgomery Bus Boycott. The boycott lasted more than a year, resulting in integration of public transportation in Montgomery on December 21st, 1956. Rosa Louise McCauley was born in Tuskegee, Alabama on February 4, 1913, to James and Leona McCauley. Her mother was a teacher and the family valued education. Rosa moved to Montgomery, Alabama at age 11, attending high school and a laboratory school at the Alabama State Teachers College for Negroes. She left the Teachers College at age 16 to care for her chronically ill mother, but earned her high school diploma in 1933. Rosa Parks worked with many social justice organizations and was elected secretary of the Montgomery chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, in 1943. Rosa Parks paid a high price for her activism, with arrests, lost employment, and harassment, but it did not deter her determination to fight for African American civil rights. Rosa Parks moved to Detroit in 1957 and worked for Congressman John Conyers' district office until her retirement in 1988. According to the U.S. Mint, Rosa Parks was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal on June 15, 1999, by President Bill Clinton for her contributions to the nation as the First Lady of Civil Rights and Mother of the Freedom Movement. The medal is the highest honor the U.S. bestows on a civilian. When Rosa Parks died on October 24, 2005, at age 92, she became the first woman in the nation's history to lie in honor at the U.S. Capitol. The following is a short list of Rosa Parks' contributions to civil rights. 1933, Rosa Parks receives her high school diploma. 1943, Rosa Parks is selected as secretary of the NAACP Montgomery, Alabama branch. 1949, Rosa Parks became an advisor to the youth council of the NAACP Montgomery, Alabama branch. In 1955, Rosa Parks is arrested on December 1st and charged with violating Montgomery, Alabama's segregation laws. In 1955, she participated in organizing a boycott of the Montgomery bus system. In 1956, Rosa Parks lost her job in January as an assistant tailor at the Montgomery Fair department store. In 1956, Rosa Parks is arrested with other boycott organizers for violation of anti-boycott laws. In 1957, Rosa Parks moved to Detroit, Michigan, and participated in the Prayer Pilgrimage for Freedom. In 1963, Rosa Parks participated in the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In 1965, Rosa Parks participated in the Selma to Montgomery March. In 1979, Rosa Parks was awarded the NAACP Spingarn Medal. In 1987, Rosa Parks founded the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development. In 1992, Rosa worked with Jim Haskins to publish her book, Rosa Parks, My Story. In 1994, Rosa Parks collaborated with Gregory J. Reed to publish her book, Quiet Strength, The Faith, the Hope, the Heart of a Woman Who Changed the Nation. In 1996, Rosa Parks is awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In 1999, Rosa Parks is awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. And on October 24th, 2005, Rosa Parks died in Detroit and lay in honor in the United States Capitol Rotunda.
My name is Asia Jackson, and I'm going to be speaking on how Ms. Rosa Parks influenced my life. Like many of you, I came to know Ms. Rosa Parks from her 1955 bus boycott movement. Not just her, but America's bus boycott movement. Ms. Rosa Parks ignited that by refusing to give up her seat to a white man after leaving work. Many of us focus on her and that point of her life. However, it was everything after that that really influenced me. Ms. Rosa Parks, after the bus boycott and even during it, had lost her job. Her husband lost his job, and it forced them to move to Detroit to find work. In a time like this, many people would give up and they will stop persevering for anything that they're wishing for because of all of life's trials that they're facing. However, Ms. Rosa Parks did not. She continued to try to look for a job. She continued to receive hate mail and just bad behavior from people who did not support her actions and what she did on the bus. However, Ms. Rosa Parks continued to work with the NAACP and also the Montgomery Improvement Association, MIA. Though while she was working with those organizations, Ms. Rosa Parks was volunteering, she did not get paid. She stayed committed to the fight of equality and fair treatment for African Americans here in America, and she taught me commitment. Moving forward, I then went to become a first-generation college student. I was so scared to leave my family and come somewhere where I knew not a soul. However, Ms. Rosa Parks was in the back of my head, and it kept playing to me, if Ms. Rosa Parks can be fearless and not give up her seat, knowing that it is against the law and she's prepared to face any consequences that can come from her actions, I too can go off to college and do whatever it is that I'm wanting to. I'm prepared to face any consequence that may come with it, good or bad. She taught me to stay committed to my dream, stay committed to the overall picture, which for me was to graduate and to lead and to have a positive example for my nieces and nephews. I faced hard times while in college. Came down to a point where I almost even dropped out of college, but I could not quit. I could not quit because Ms. Rosa Parks did not quit. Even when she could not find a job, even with people still hating her for fighting for equality for people, she never quit. Eventually, her life did get better. She eventually found a job. She began to do work with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X in the fight for equality for African Americans. And because of her commitment and her perseverance to stay committed to this goal all the way until the end, it helped me to stay committed throughout my life journey, not even just for college. And she taught me to be fearless, to speak what's on my mind, to stand up on my own 2 feet and say what it is and do not back down regardless of who has a different opinion than me. A lot of these things are hard for women because we are taught to kind of just sit there and, be nice and, everything proper. But sometimes as women, we have to shake that. We have to speak what's right, what's fair to everyone, not just to ourselves, but to the world. And Ms. Rosa Parks is a great example for that. Her actions sparked a revolution, really, if you really think about it. She was fearless, and I'm sure there was moments where she was afraid of whatever may come, but she never stood down. And just off that alone inspired me and influenced me to always stand on whatever it is that I say and see my vision completely through. Even if there's turmoil and I'm having a hard time to the end, never give up. Because eventually you're going to get to the end, and the end is going to be exactly what it was that you're fighting for. So I would like to thank Ms. Rosa Parks for her influence on my life. I would like to thank her for teaching me to be fearless, to be courageous, and to stand up on my own 2 feet and speak my truth. Thank you, Ms. Rosa Parks.